There has been a lot of analysis and criticism that has come the way of Shubman Gill after what was a pretty ordinary performance in the deciding ODI of the series against New Zealand, which of course eventually ended up with New Zealand scripting history by winning their first ever ODI series in India. And whilst there has been plenty spoken about Gill's technique and the fact that he's clearly struggling with the ball that swings in, Ravichandran Ashwin broke down that technique and why it is that he's struggling in this way in quite poignant fashion on his X account, formerly known as Twitter. What we'll do here as we'll look at that analysis, then of course add our own 2 cents as we usually do over here at Sports Day, starting with this particular frame which he shows and the analysis which he wrote that says that, look, if you look at pick number 1, his natural receiving position where the bat comes from gully, he's naturally picking up the bat to hit the delivery as he has been trained to do this over years of practice. Now, this backlift of Gill is fairly well understood at this point in time. You've seen that his backlift is high and then he'll have a jab sort of a shot. Usually he's a jab kind of a player. That's kind of how he goes. Now, pick 2 is where it starts getting interesting. He says, look, if you see pick 2, he has seen the line of the delivery and realigned his bat to meet the ball head on and is in superb position thus far. The bat needs to now start curving in to meet the ball such that he doesn't leave a gap between bat and ball. And this part is key. He's saying that so far also, Gill can see that the ball can potentially start coming in. He's changed his position. He's in a very good position. And all he needs to do is bring it down quick enough to ensure that the gap between bat and pad is not there. Because if that gap is there, the ball will find its way through. However, the struggles start from pick 3. He's saying that, look, once he brings his bat down, the gap has started to emerge here. And he knows he's in trouble because the ball has pitched and started to duck back in. He should be able to release his bottom hand a touch and maneuver his hands closer to the pads to handle this delivery. That part is key because this is what Ashwin will point out later. This part, keep in mind, the bottom hand. He needs to loosen his bottom hand to ensure that he can maneuver the bat quicker closer to his pad. However, pick number 4 is when disaster strikes. He said that if you see closely, the bottom hand, which is supposed to be used for dexterity, hasn't loosened up and allowed the last minute adjustment. Even though he wants to shut the gap down, his bottom hand, which is firm on the handle, isn't allowing him to do that. And because his bottom hand is firm on the handle and he's unable to loosen it on time to bring the bat down quickly, the gap remains. The ball goes through the gap, hits his stumps. Good night, that's over. That's all she wrote. However, Ashwin also contextualized this criticism by putting something in frame. He's not criticizing Gill or saying that he's a useless player, which many people on social media are seemingly doing. This is what he had to say when he came about his struggles. He said that this is what happened now, but he managed to address this while he was playing tests in England. Gill is a fab player. This is not a huge mistake. This can happen due to lack of awareness most of the time because his natural habitat is the dominant usage of his bottom hand, especially while playing white ball cricket. And this part really is key because, as I said, Ashwin's analysis is one thing which we have been through, but this is really what is bound to happen to a lot of players when they are consistently having to very quickly switch between formats. In white ball cricket, you can more often than not get away with not being able to deal with the moving ball, even though in this case he was undone by it in white ball cricket. However, the technique that comes, or when you're playing test cricket, your mind naturally attunes itself to being able to play for the ball that's moving in or moving out. So you are actually quicker to adjust. In white ball cricket, though, you're expecting that the ball will be straight, you can hit through the line, no problems whatsoever. And this is where really you see the modern cricketers' confusion come in when it comes to switching formats or being able to deal with a slight challenge in white ball cricket. The ball moves here or there just a little bit. There is plenty, of course, for struggle. And that really is a worry because what we are seeing is that a lot of batters now are just used to the ball coming on straight and being able to hit through the line. Hopefully, this is something Gill can actually work on because, as Ashwin points out, he is a fab player, one who has all the shots. However, right now, it's clearly a concern. You can let us know your opinions on Ashwin's analysis in the comments below. And don't forget, as always, to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, follow us also on social media. We're on Instagram, X, and Facebook. And stay tuned for more such updates from the world of sport.